Have you ever felt like you're just reacting to life? Like you're constantly putting out fires instead of actually building something meaningful? Well, today we're going to dive into a classic for a reason, Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We're going to look at its framework for moving from a life of just reacting to a life of true intentional action.
Right off the bat, Covey makes something crystal clear. The thing is, this isn't about some new productivity hack or a couple of personality tricks to get ahead. No, we're talking about a fundamental shift in who you are, building a solid foundation of character that actually lasts.
You see, for a long time, self-help was all about what Covey calls the personality ethic. The quick fixes, the stuff that looks good on the surface. But he argues that the real deal, true effectiveness, comes from the character ethic. This is the deep stuff, timeless principles like integrity, courage, and humility. And that right there is the heart of his whole inside-out approach.
So here's the game plan. We're going to start with what he calls the private victory. That's all about mastering yourself with habits 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll build on that and move to the public victory, winning with other people, using habits 4, 5, and 6. And finally, we'll wrap up with the one habit that keeps the whole engine running.
First things first, the private victory. This is where it all begins. It's about making a huge shift from being dependent, where life just kind of happens to you, to being independent, where you're the one in the driver's seat. Think about it. You have to get your own house in order before you can build something great with other people.
So, how do we win this private victory? It comes down to 3 absolutely foundational habits. First, you take responsibility. Second, you figure out where you're going. And third, you organize yourself to actually get there. Let's kick it off with habit number 1. All right, habit 1. Be proactive. This is a game changer. Imagine 2 circles. There's your huge circle of concern, full of stuff you worry about but can't control, like politics or the weather. Then there's a smaller circle inside it, your circle of influence. That's what you can control. Proactive people pour all their energy into that smaller circle. And you know what? It starts to grow. It's about realizing that between stimulus and response, you have the freedom to choose.
Next up, habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Okay, this is about becoming your own leader. Covey has this really powerful exercise. I want you to just imagine your own funeral for a second. What would you want people to say about you? Your family, your friends? Getting clear on that, well, that's your end in mind. It lets you write your own life script based on what truly matters to you, instead of letting someone else write it for you. And that brings us to habit 3, but first things first. This is where the rubber meets the road. So many of us live in quadrant 1, just fighting fires. Or we get stuck in quadrant 3, dealing with things that are urgent but not really important. But the secret sauce? It's quadrant 2. These are the important but not urgent things. Planning, exercising, building relationships. This is where you prevent the fires from starting in the first place. It's where real effectiveness lives.
And this right here, this is absolutely critical. You have to understand this sequence. The first 3 habits are all about building you, your character, your self-control. You just can't have consistent success with other people if you haven't first won the battle with yourself. Private victory always comes before public victory. No shortcuts.
Okay, so once you've achieved that independence, that private victory, you're ready for the next level, interdependence. This is the public victory. It's where you take your self-mastery and combine it with the talents of others to create something truly amazing. And that's where habits 4, 5, and 6 come into play. Let's talk about habit 4, think win-win. Now, this isn't just about being nice. It's a powerful mindset that says, hey, there's plenty of success to go around. It's not your success versus my success. It requires you to be courageous in fighting for what you want, but also considerate of what the other person wants. And if you can't find a solution where you both win, the best alternative is often to just walk away. No deal.
Then we have habit 5, and wow, this might be the most powerful communication skill on the planet. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. I mean, let's be honest. Most of us listen with the intent to reply, right? We're just waiting for our turn to talk. Covey says we need to flip that. Listen with real empathy. Be like a doctor. Diagnose the situation deeply before you even think about prescribing a solution. It builds trust like nothing else. And all of this leads to habit 6, synergize. This is where the magic happens. Synergy is when the whole is way greater than the sum of its parts. It's about truly valuing the differences between people. You're not just compromising, you're creating something new and better that neither of you could have come up with alone. It's that amazing moment when 1 + 1 = 3, or 10, or 100.
So, you've got your private victory, you're achieving public victories, but how do you keep it all going? How do you avoid burnout? Well, that's what our final, crucial habit is all about. It's the one that keeps the whole system humming.
Habit 7 is sharpen the saw. Picture a woodcutter trying to chop down a tree with a dull saw. He says he's too busy cutting to stop and sharpen it. Crazy, right? Well, we do it all the time. This habit is about consistently renewing yourself in 4 key areas: the physical, the mental, the social and emotional, and the spiritual. This isn't a luxury. It's the investment in yourself that makes everything else possible.
And that, my friends, brings the whole journey together. It's what Covey calls the maturity continuum. We all start out dependent, but with habits 1, 2, and 3, we work our way to the private victory of independence. And from that place of strength, we can choose to move to the highest level, interdependence, where we achieve our greatest successes with others. That is the path to a truly effective life.
So as we wrap this up, I want to turn it over to you. Looking at all 7 of these habits, from taking charge to sharpening the saw, which one of them really hits home for you right now? What's one small thing you could do, starting this week, to put that principle into practice in your own life?